All right, in this Google Classroom assignment, or unit, I should say, we're going back and reviewing various statistical items such as range. We're talking about a series of numbers here: range, mean, median, and mode. And we're going to use Google Sheets, which you'll find in your Google Classroom for this practice. So you'll need that open as we go through this. So here we have a series of home prices in the mythical town of Waltonia. All right. And we have 20 different home prices. And we want to get some information as far as, first of all, what is the range? What is the mean? What is the median? And what is the mode to get some idea of our housing prices? Because you're going to get all kinds of whatever you're shopping for: cars, houses, stuff at the store, clothing, whatever. You're going to get all kinds of ranges of prices in your experience. And doing a little statistical analysis kind of helps you break up and go, well, why is that one so much lower than the rest? And so on. Okay. When we say range, we're talking about the difference between the lowest value and the highest value. Lowest value and the highest value. So that's what we need to calculate first, are those highs and lows in our range. Now you can eyeball these and go, no, 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 that's the highest. Or if we had like 5,000 numbers, that would be a little bit harder to do. There's a little Excel 101 here. So I'm going to come down here to max. I'm going to say, okay, what's the max or the maximum amount in that range? I'm going to say equals max, left parenthesis, and just drag through and select the range. And by the way, another Excel 101 is, yeah, I should have to put the parenthesis on the right, but if I just hit enter, bam, it just puts it in there for me. The maximum amount is $3,478,000 in our 20 home prices. What's the min? Equals, and by the way, you can find that either by typing in MIN, or over here in your function area, you can find max, min, average, sum, so on. So I could come over here to my little Greek epsilon and say min, and it's going to say, what's your range? I'm going to say I want B6 through B25. My min is 89,000. Now my range over in B27 is going to be the difference between those two. Now, if you're new to Excel, you start every formula with a equal sign. I'm just going to use the click method. Click on C27 and subtract D27. C27 minus D27. And I can just hit enter. They don't have a check mark in Google Sheets, do they? Meh. So my range is 3,389,000 between my high value and my low value. Mean, when we talk about the statistical mean, we're talking about the average of a range, I should say a range of numbers, a group or set's the term, a set of numbers. Again, I could just start typing, or I just come up here to my insert functions, average, and my average of B6 to B25. I don't want to autofill. 419,000 is my average of those numbers. Now, median, what's that? That's the midpoint. I've got 20 values. The median is my midpoint, of which half the values are less than that, half the values are greater than that. Now, I've got some outliers here. Outliers meaning big numbers that are way out there. $3.4 million home and a $2.1 million home. And I got some other ones that are not so expensive. So my average may be 419,000, but my median or midpoint, given that I got some homes that are really expensive, it's probably going to be a way, way less than that. The midpoint of which half the numbers are less, half the numbers are more. I'm just going to go equals median that parenthesis. Select the range. Again, I don't have to put a parenthesis on the right side. 136,750. So 136,750 is the midpoint between where everything on the left and everything on the right is going to be equal. Now, you don't see a 136,750. It would actually be an average of the middle point of probably 121,000 and 152,000. Average those out. I think that's where the median came from. Well, 121,500, right? Anyway, there you go. So I don't have an actual number. I have to take the average of two numbers, which are right in the middle. Excel did that for me. Mode, what's the number that comes up the most often? In my set of numbers, which value is being repeated the most? And mode doesn't have the greatest statistical value unless you keep finding the same numbers over and over again. I'm just going to do mode of those 20 numbers. Whoops. Let's try that again. I shifted, did something weird. 109,000 shows up 1, 2, 3 times. 1, 2, 3 times. 3 times shows up as mode. Okay. So that gives me a little breakdown. So the mean is actually a little bit deceiving in that, yeah, the average is 419,000, but there's 2 houses that are blowing that out of proportion. The median is a little bit more accurate, showing me what the midpoint of my housing prices are. Okay. Now, if you're like new to Excel, and you know you start a formula with an equal sign, you know you've got some of these functions over here at your fingertips. Now, we're going to practice and do these 9 questions. 9 questions. Because I'm not sure what number 10, what that is. Anyway, okay. Find the range. The range? Well, I need to find my max. I'm going to just go down below here. Maximum is 15. Reardon, I can eyeball that. Yeah, I know you can. Minimum, min. Make sure you just select that range. And by the way, Excel 101 again, a range is the first cell, first little piece of information, and the last cell separated by a colon. Call that an argument. 15 and 6 is my lowest. So I'd say my range is equals, again, I'm just clicking A16 minus A17. Range is 9. Now again, I'm assuming you've gone through and you're doing these questions first before just watching me mindlessly do them for you. How about these numbers? The range. Come down here and say, well, the max is 15.6. Min is, and make sure you just select the range you want and maybe not what Google Sheets predicts. The max 15.6, the min is 12.3. I'm just going to take the difference, that minus that. 3.3 is my range. My data is pretty close together. Here it was much farther apart. It was 9 with everything from 6 to 15. Okay, find the mean. Well, you should know by now, mean is just a fancy way of saying, I'm going to come up here to my functions, average. It's waiting for me to enter in a range, a set of numbers, or range, yes. Okay, C3 to C8. So I'm using the term range twice. A range of cells being C3 to C8. That's an Excel term or Google Sheets term. Range statistically means the difference between the high and the low. Wow, that's confusing, huh? My range is 89, excuse me, my mean is 89. Find the mean here, wash, rinse, repeat, mean, average, 13.78, those numbers. The median, or the midpoint of those 7 numbers. Now, is median even up here? Let's see if that's in database. No. Array, median. Should be in like statistical. Oh, is it there? I'm just messing around here, people. Median, there it is. Median of, midpoint is 12. Again, half the numbers are greater than that, half the numbers are less than that. I'm just going to type in equals median this time. Not to bore you with tears, unless that's up here. No, it doesn't remember that. Okay. Median of those numbers is 810. Okay, that's the midpoint. You're asking, well, there's not 810 up there. Well, I have 8 numbers. It looks like the 2 that are messing around in the middle are 856 and 764. They're the 2 in the middle. Average those 2 out and come up with 810. That's how Google Sheets calculated that median. Mode, which one is used the most? 39, used twice. Let's see, mode here. Let's go back here and mess around. Let's see, it's statistical again. There's different ways to do things. You know that. Mode. The number used most often is 0. It's used 3 times. Okay. I could use count if. That's another story. Forget it. Calculate the score. Okay, so my mean is 85. I got 4 numbers. I need to know the score needed with this 5th unknown number to get a mean of 85. Wow. Well, how many numbers am I going to end up with? 5 numbers. What's their mean going to be? 85. What are they going to total then as a total sum? Well, 85 times 5. So I would say 85, or I could just click down here, 85 times 5, my number of items in my set of numbers, minus the sum of those 4 previous numbers. You're like, oh, this is like so confusing. Well, you could, I guess you could do guess and check and try to figure that out. There's all kinds of different ways to do this. I would just say minus, again, Excel 101, sum of those 4 numbers. So 85, I8, times 5, my total number of items in my set, minus the 4 numbers that I know of what they are, I3 through I6, leaves me with 82 is the score I need to get a mean or an average of 85. Advanced course. I have no idea what says how many numbers. That's from something else. I don't know what that is. We'll call it good. All right. So that's range, mean, median, and mode. And you will now be doing some problems relative to that. Take care.